for a long time. The last video that I put up was a pre-recorded video, and the one before that was my September wrap-up. No, September TBR and my August wrap-up. And now we're here to September, and September's over. So where have I been? I'm going to give the excuse of the century and say school, because senior year is very interesting. But I did manage to finish 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, pretty much 8 books, but I don't count one of them, and I'm not going to show you that one because it was for school. Some of them are for school, but the other one was just like 40 pages, and Goodreads counts it as a book, but I don't want to talk about it because I did not like it. So I'm going to be showing you the books that I read this month and the books that I plan on reading next month. The first book that I finished this month was The Princess Bride by William Goldman. I finally finished this book. Oh my gosh. You have no idea how much I wanted to finish this. And the beginning was super cute, but I did not like this book very much. I think I gave it a 2.5 stars, and I don't even know how to explain it. Too much detail, man. And I know some people love that and the wittiness, and it was cute, but it was not for me. So, sorry guys. Then I read My Life Next Door by Huntley Fitzpatrick, which I absolutely loved. It was so very cute, and I just really enjoyed it. I felt like it had real life things that could actually happen today in it, and it dealt with things that really happened today, and I just thought that Huntley Fitzpatrick did a really good way of dealing with situations, and I liked it a lot. I gave it a 4. It wasn't a 5, but it was good, and it's definitely a summer read, even though I finished it in September. What else? Then I read The Archive by Victoria Schwab. Everyone and their mom has been telling me to read this book, and I saw it at my library in the new book section, so I picked it up, and it took me like a month and a half to read it, and I didn't like it very much at all. Actually, I do not think I will be continuing with the series. I gave it a 3. I don't like mystery, and I guess from the cover I should have been able to get that it was a mystery, but for some reason I thought that it would be like learning about the archive or something, but it wasn't, and it was a mystery, and mystery is not my thing, so I didn't like it. No hard feelings to those of you who did like it, because I can see why you would. It just wasn't my thing. Then I read The Boy in Striped Pajamas by John Boyne with my library book club, and this little book right here, very different than I thought it would be, and it wasn't my favorite book. I definitely thought that there were faults. The beginning was super slow, but in the end it did make me cry, and it's a very emotional book, and I think it's important to have these types of book in the world. I can't speak. It is important to have this type of book in the world, because pretty soon all the people that were alive during this time, and a lot of them are gone, but there's still some alive, but a lot of them who were here during this time and actually remember what happened are going to be gone, and we're only going to be going off of secondhand stories and history. I don't necessarily know if the author, if this was a first person, not a first person, but it's completely fiction, or if he had lived some of these things, but I think that he had to have either done a lot of research or had to have been able to hear stories from people that had lived through things like this, and I really think that it's important to have books like this. So I gave this a 3.5 stars. Not my favorite story, but it was a really good lesson, if that makes sense. I reread The Giver by Lois Lowry, and I read this in 8th grade, and I remember liking it, but I didn't remember everything that happened and what was going on, and this was for my Tumblr book club last month, so I decided that I'd pick it up again, and oh my god, guys, why didn't I know this? I feel like this book should be like all over booktube, and maybe I just missed the train, guys, because this is a pretty old book, but oh my god, this is so good. I can't even explain how much I like this. The world building was perfect, the details, everything, the characters, and it was in 3rd person, and I loved it. So that tells something about this, and I want to get my hands on all of the sequels after this, and if you like dystopian, pick up this book, because it's amazing. Then I read A Raisin in the Sun by Lauren Henderson, I think. I'm going to put the picture up somewhere here so you guys can see it. I'm sorry I didn't know that, but I read this kind of last minute for my drama assignment because we have to read a play a month, which is a lot compared to one a semester last year. So we have to read a play a month, and I completely forgot, so I just picked this one up. And I usually like reading plays. I don't know why I didn't like this play. I just didn't. Like, not really at all. I gave it 2 stars, and I just don't know if I could connect with the characters, or I just felt like the conflicts that the characters had annoyed me, and some of the stuff that the characters would do annoyed me. And if you really love this play, could you please inform me why? I'm not trying to be rude when I say that. I'm just trying to understand why someone would like it and maybe see something that I missed, which I tend to do a lot. So I would really just love to know if you love this book or play. Tell me why you love it, and maybe I'll see a different perspective on it, because I didn't like it very much at all. And last but not least, I listened to the Eleanor and Park book on CD, and I started driving this school year, so most of the time before I read in the car when my mom was driving, or my dad, or when someone else was driving. So I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to have that reading time anymore. And that was like a lot of reading time. Think of all the times that you drive somewhere I was reading. So I decided that I was going to start listening to audiobooks, and I am going to try not listen to books that I haven't read before. I'm doing that right now, but it was a book that I wasn't really sure if I wanted to read, but now I am sure. But I'm really attached to the voice author, so voice, what is it called? A voice actor, yep. Back to Eleanor and Park. I really, really love this audiobook. I've listened to a lot of audiobooks in my life, and this one was probably one of my favorites. The different voice actors that did for Eleanor and Park were perfect, and I found a whole bunch of different points that I didn't find when I had read it the first time, and I just really think that it was good. Definitely a 5 out of 5 again. This book, second time I'm reading it this year. I probably will reread it again several times. One of my favorite books of all time, and it was really good. So right now is the time that I'm going to show you my TBR and that other thing. No, yes, my TBR. Right now is the time that I'm going to show you my TBR, but Gabby in this time has to go somewhere, so Gabby in the future will show you the books that she's going to read. Bye-bye! And we're back! So now I'm going to show you the books that I have read, not that I have read, oh my gosh, that I am going to be reading in October, which is the month we are currently in. I'm not going to repeat the books that I did last month, that I said for my last month's TBR that I haven't finished, which is a lot of them. I can just go look at them right now. These are the ones I haven't finished and are just going to be on my back burner for now. So if I don't finish anything, if I finish all the books that are on this list, I'm going to go to these ones. Okay. And now I will just show you the books that I am currently reading and the ones that I intend on reading that are here, because some of them aren't here. But if I remember them, I will tell you. So let's just get started. I will continue with The Titan's Curse by Rick Riordan. I am in the middle, not the middle. I am reading this. I'm like, not even a middle, but I'm like there. And it's good, kind of slowing down a little bit. I don't really know where the story's going to go. I kind of would like to know where it's going, but don't tell me. And I just want to know what's going to go on. But I've heard a lot of people talk about this series, so I'm going to keep continuing. I own all of them, so I'm going to continue for sure. Just right now, it's just kind of blah. No! I'm reading the Someone Like You by Sarah Dessen. I'm like there. This book has the longest chapters known to man, and the way that I read books is I'm always reading 3 books for fun at once, and then a school book, and possibly another book, but that's too confusing. And so this book has really huge chapters, and I read like a chapter of one book, a chapter of the second book, a chapter of the third, a chapter of one book, and this one takes me like a long time, like maybe 10 to 15 minutes to read a chapter, and then the other ones take me like 5 to 7 minutes, and then 10, 15, 5, 7, 10, 15. And it all depends on how big the book is, but this really is just, I've been skipping over this one in things because I'll want to be reading more chapters of the next book that I'm going to be showing you that I'm reading currently. But this one's just kind of, it's good though. I hope it gets a little better, so then I wouldn't want to put it down, but I'm not that far in it already, so we'll just have to see. Lola and the Boy Next Door by Stephanie Perkins. I'm surprised on how long this is taking me to read. I love it. I'm like really in love with it, and I'm like right there. But I don't know why it's taking me so long to read this. It just is, and it's bugging me. I've been reading those 3 books that I've shown you. This one, Someone Like You, and The Titan's Curse. I've been reading them for about maybe 2 weeks, and I usually read about 2 books a week, and I can put it on school, and it's the truth, but I really just need to get this finished because it's good. And it's due tomorrow back at the library, because this is a library copy. This is a library copy, and I'm not going to take it back. I am a rebel. Shh. Then with my friend, I will be reading The Barcode Tattoo by Suzanne Wayne. This is about, I believe everyone has a barcode tattoo, so it's easier to stay like in contact with everyone, and like instead of having to pay at the store, you just like beep your arm or something, and then you have good clearance or something like that. And then it says, but what if you say no? What if you don't want to become a code? So we're reading this one. It's been on my list. I'm kind of nervous about it because we opened the first page and read it and we were like, eee, interesting. But I'm going to be reading this, and I'm actually really excited about it. My friend and I are also going to be reading The Selection by Kira Cass. I don't have that, but that's for our school book club, which we are part of, and yeah, that's going to be fun. I will be reading A Little Piece of Sky by Nicole Bailey Williams. This was not ever on my to-read list on Goodreads until after I decided to do a little piece of it from a little piece of this book for my drama competition that I'm going to be doing for my drama class. I'll be reading Fracture by Megan Miranda. One of those for my library book club, and I've read a book by Megan Miranda before. It was Hysteria. I got a copy of that from NetGalley, and I loved that book. Like, it was the first thriller type book that I've ever read, and I really liked it. So I was really happy when they chose this one, and I'm excited to see if I'll like this one as well. Pushing the Limits by Katie McGarry has been in one of my videos before, but I had to turn it in because I had it since like mid-summer. So I had to stop at around page 70 and then come back. And so I'm going to be reading this one. I'm going to be reading How Zoe Made Her Dreams Mostly Come True by Sarah Strodemeyer, and this was the effect of the results of what happens when I go into the library and go look at the new book section, and I already have so many books that I already checked out, and this is what happens when that happens.